Hi guys, Piotr here, this is LiteFinance Global YouTube channel. My pleasure to be with you again. Pipsing or scalping? That's what we are going to discuss, especially in relation to the pipsing. So guys, without the further delay, let's jump straight into the chart. Here we go. So generally, what's the name of the pipsing? Why we are talking pipsing? Especially on the FX market, is the fastest possible trading executed on the minimum price fluctuations, meaning that your entry and the stop are very, very close. Why? Because the profit which you are going to get is very, very, very tight, right? It's pipsing, it's, I would say, very, very complicated. If someone is saying scalping is complicated, then the pipsing is even more complicated, but many new traders, many novice traders are trying to practice it. So again, very tight entry, very tight stop, very tight profit taking. Well, the thing is that the beginners saying that pipsing and scalping is almost the same, well, that also depends on the your approach, right? When it comes to the pipsing, the name, it came from the pip, so the smallest minimum unit for the quotes when it comes to the FX market. And here I got a few examples of the pipsing, all right, different than what I would do trying to scalp the market, all right. So first, the things first, I'm looking after the consolidation period of here. I'm looking for an upside break and I'm looking for my target. So I'm looking for the upside break and my target are this line below, right? So in that case, the upside break, immediately long position, stop below of the low of the breakout candle and trying to get 4 pips. That was the 4 pips. Here is another trade because we broke to the downside, so I was looking to sell on the break with very tight stop and I was immediately stopped out. With that case, going long immediately would achieve the perfect trade of the 4 pips up towards the previous swing high. Of course, the best thing when it comes to the pipsing is very small time frame, right? That's the thing. Because you don't want to fall in love with your position, right? The pipsers, if I can call the traders who are pipsing, the pipsers are doing really high amount of them trades over the course of the day. So in case of the bigger stops, right, one failure could take out all of your profits you did over the course of the day. So the general idea is to have a very tight stops, right? And we are trying to achieve like 1-to-1. Very often you are hearing me when it comes to the aggressive day trader strategies of 3R, 3-to-1, right? Here, very tight. If you have a 3 pips stop, you want to trade 4 pips profit, 5 pips profit, so maybe a little bit more than 1. That's why your stop has to be very tight, just to avoid the situation that one big pullback or one strong break to the upside are taking out your whole profit. It's not for traders who are not able to get into the point that there are gonna be series of losses. You have to understand there are gonna be plenty of stops hitting your positions, but overall, if you are going to try to use proper strategies, maybe some of them are useful also for the scalpers, then you might be good to go. So very tight stop, then the, as I've mentioned, very tight stop, instant closing of the losing trades. There are gonna be plenty of trades over the course of the day, so there is no reason to try to hold into the losing position. All right. Now, the next thing that as I mentioned, very beginning traders, novice traders are trying to Pipsing, but as I mentioned at the very beginning, it's not the easy game, and it could be like, you know, trading addiction. That's the first thing you have to avoid. Try to avoid the revenge trading after the series of stop losses. Don't try to increase your position trying to use the bigger leverage. It's a temptation to trade, and if the day was good, we want to trade longer, and we are trying to trade even during the period of almost no move on the market, and then after the good series of trades, we might face the series of losses. So, well, again, not for everyone. And in that case, because we are trading with very tight stops, the good thing is that we don't need the big capital, right? Why? We don't need big capital because that could produce the temptation for a bigger trades, which with very tight stops could produce bigger losses. So that's what you have to be afraid. Of course, as usual, you have to do your own research. You have to do your homework, right? What the problems of the Pipsing strategies? Lack of stable earnings. That's what the point number one. I have to clearly say, if you are trying to be a Pipser, you have to understand there is going to be lack of the stable earnings. Psychological and emotional overstrain, that's what I've mentioned. There might be no sleep and big headache after the series of losses. The difficulty of trading during the flat market. What I'm trying to tell you again, it's that even if going to be the reverse trading, or if you had a series of good trades and you want to continue, right? There are the times on the market is completely flat, and there is a much bigger probability of losing on the trade with very tight stop. Well, with Pipsing, the thing is, as I mentioned, that maybe some scalping strategies might work, but there is no ability to test them, right? Because we want to use, for example, the fundamental things, right? Like the news, okay? And so, well, it's not that easy to try to test any Pipsing strategies, okay? Well, and the last thing, that after series of losses, it would be great to make the break from the trading for quite some time. Well, general Pipsing strategy, you can use the Pipsing in any direction. Of course, the best thing is to try to trade with the overall trend from the bigger time frame, right? You might want to use, as I mentioned, the upcoming news and market reaction into that, but you have to understand how the market is working over the course of the first 5 minutes after the news announcement, right? Don't try to cover several tools at once. Well, you might try to use, for example, the candlestick strategies with the basic stuff, especially when you are trying to trade with the very few pips of the stop, right? So what's the important things to remember? The time frame, I would say between M1, M5, some saying M15 should be good. Well, that's the execution. Don't forget what I mentioned a second ago. Look at the trend from the higher time frame, right? That's the thing. Use the higher time frame. Your probability of being profitable are gonna be higher. So guys, do your own homework, do your own research trying to pips. Wish you great next Pipsing day. All the best, stay safe, see you around, take care, and goodbye.